sharing their insight, tips, and tricks to finding true happiness. Now, here's your host, Forbes Riley.
Hey, everybody. I am so very excited to be broadcasting live from Baja, Mexico. Just absolutely.
Their insight, tips, and tricks to finding true happiness.
That would be me live streaming on YouTube, which is where you can catch my show. Beyond right here on Voice America, you get to see me live. You get to see my own face and my guest face, and I just love the idea that we can dual stream this. But I am live in Baja, Mexico, just absolutely enjoying life. It is if we're live, it's the last week or the second last week of August, and I always strive very hard because I remember being a kid, and that August was that month where you're supposed to enjoy your summer, and I have just been working all year long. I have been teaching classes, doing TV shows. I've got some really fun news for you guys, and I'm just thrilled to get this going. So the first thing I would love you guys to do is to, now remember, we're live today, and we live forever on iTunes and Spotify and Pandora and all the other beautiful places that you can find the top podcast in the world. But I like talking about what's happening live. I don't. So what's happening live for me is that last week we dropped a new TV series called 60 Day Hustle. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know how long it will be there. I am episode 3 and 4. Apparently, I haven't seen it just yet. I only saw the pilot at the big screening and the red carpet in Los Angeles. And what I'm enjoying right now is saying how much fun it is to take entrepreneurs through this process, this journey of getting their products out to the world. And literally 60 Day Hustle is American Idol meets Entrepreneur Magazine. Yeah. And what you get out of watching the entire series, I think, is a tremendous sense of how to do business. And it's really fun to watch other people suffer. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm not really kidding. I'm kind of serious. To watch other people go through the trials and tribulations of getting their product out to the world. And we put them through the gauntlet. One of the challenges was, and these kids just had, new businesses, was to get 1 million views on social media. How crazy is that? And they did a really good job. I will tell you, it's worth watching if you have a business. And this is the part that I really like that unfortunately you don't see on Shark Tank because you just don't. You don't really see how the whole process works. And it's rather unfortunate. You just see, they either gave them money or they didn't, and the business was successful or not. We take you through this entire journey, and it's just fantastic. So I'm hoping that you get a chance to watch it and enjoy it. And I am looking forward to my first guest coming on, but I'm not sure. She seems to be having some technical difficulty. So I'm going to be dealing with that while I'm talking to you guys, which always makes it a little uncomfortable. And I apologize, doing the very best that I can. Those little beeps that you hear are, in fact, my team going, wait, we're working very hard to get her on the program. And I apologize about that. Sadly, doing the very best that we can here. And yeah, all right. So I may just have to continue and keep talking. And I'll obviously open to taking questions. And if you guys want, I think that line is open so that you guys can write in at ForbesRiley@gmail.com. Pop me a question, let me, answer anything that I can. I'm happy to always do that. All right, you guys. So when it comes to vacation, my question is, do you take the time to slow down? And not everybody does. When you're go, like we have them hustle on this particular show, what is the downtime to recharge? And I would love you guys to chime in, and I see some comments here live on my Facebook about what do you do to chill? And as I'm sitting here looking at a beach, it's funny because for me, beaches aren't the chill thing. I'm terrified of the sun. I've been yelled at by every dermatologist I've ever been to that I spend too much time in the sun. And it's unfortunate because I like the sun, but if it causes wrinkles and it causes cancer, sitting on a beach without an umbrella or tons of sunscreen is a huge issue. Hang on a second. So the next part of that is the sand. And if you're like me, do you want sand to be everywhere? Well, I certainly don't. So now I'm going to the beach. I have to lug all my stuff onto the sand, onto the beach. Sand is everywhere, in every crack, in all of the food. You drop a sandwich, it's covered in sand. And then you go into the water, not to mention you have to be afraid of sharks. I feel like I'm doing a crazy rant. And then I've got to protect myself from the sun. So somehow this might not be my favorite kind of vacation. Now, obviously, if you've got a great cabana, have you looked at the price of cabanas? If you want like a little special cabana on the beach, that's only like a mere $300 to $500 for the afternoon. I don't get it. And in fact, I'm not quite sure. The whole inflation thing is just completely freaking me out, because I'm staying at this resort. I don't know when a pina colada got to be $30. And then they want a tip on top of that. So your pina colada drink is now $35. Just feel free to chime in. Am I the only one who's dealing with this? Because it's making me a little nuts. It's not fun when you're maxing out your credit card just to have lunch on the beach and covered in sand, covered in sun, covered in sunscreen. And am I complaining? No. In fact, I'm doing quite the opposite. I'm here to push all of your buttons and to see how far I can, in fact, push them, because it's supposed to be de-stressful, and I get that. So I am here, and I should share with you guys, I'm in Mexico with one of my publishers because we're writing a new book. And my question to you guys is, have you ever written a book? There is something incredibly crazy about the process of digging deep, bearing your heart and soul, and wanting it to be read by strangers in a hope to inspire them. So that is one of the things that I am focused on at the moment, and I am absolutely just loving what we're doing. I have a couple of new books. The first one is called Pitch Secrets A to Z, and it is my specialty. It is my heart. It's what I love talking about. A is attitude. Z is Zoom. How perfect is that? And then all the letters in between in an effort to inspire everyone to take this whole concept of pitching seriously. Now, before I bring on my first guest, I'm gonna rant on something else. So I know Amy just joined us. I've just been dissing on, I'm vacationing in Mexico, supposed to be enjoying it, but between the sunscreen and the fear of cancer, the fear of sharks, and sand in every crevice, on every sandwich, and in my Diet Coke, not happy about that. But I just went, and I'm gonna totally rip this. I'm here with a friend writing a book, right? And they're like, well, no, we're gonna gift you a dinner cruise or a dinner whatever, sunset, but you've got to come to the sales presentation. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll show up, right? Let me share with you. And I'm going to declare it right now, and I hope they all hear it at this. I freaking hate sales presentations. I do not want to sit through a timeshare this and a hun that. He literally wanted 2 hours of my time to ask me questions. So do you vacation? Do you like to vacation? Do you have your thought? Like, would you stop? I know you're a stranger. Why am I giving you, here, my social security number and my kid's height, weight, and medical records? That's what it felt like he wanted. And every time I came up with a sassy answer, because I am I don't like being sold. I said, look, just tell me, what is the price for a two-bed, whatever it is here. I'm happy to take a look at it. Oh, well, it varies. I can't tell you the price, but I can give you the entire history of the property, and I need 2 hours to tell you that. So I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? So it was just, and I knew it was going to be this way. And I guess many people fall for this or enjoy this process. I don't. I make a living pitching. I think that you should be in and out very quickly. I think time is very precious. Don't waste it. If it's value, people will buy whatever people buy what they want, people buy what they want, not what you think they need. Mm-hmm. And I'm all cranky right now. With that, Amy's going to let me, I've not met her in person. She's like, well, great. I get to interview with a cranky girl. Amy, Lacey, come on up here. I'm excited for you. Sorry for any frustration you had getting online.
But it's just me. I'm technically challenged. I'm sure of it. It just
no, you're not. Now, first of all, I'll say okay. I'm a master coach here. Say cancel. I'm not
cancel.
It just happens. That's all.
It just happens. Yeah. But I want to tell you something. Listening to you, and by the way, we have met once a long time ago. We did meet years ago. But you are such an inspiration to me because you are fabulous.
Okay, you can be my guest any day, and can I record that and have that be my screensaver for the morning? You are, and now I love you. Amy, when did we meet? And forgive me for remembering.
I'm trying to think. We met a few years ago, and by the end of this, I'll remember exactly who introed us because we have some similar people that we know. But I want to tell you, your cranky day is like one of the best days to most people. And I also want to say I was in the Bahamas last week and I dove in. We went scuba diving. I'm a mom of 3 kids, and it's a family thing we do on vacation. It's a sport we can all do together. I consider scuba diving a sport. We dove in and there was all these sharks, nurse sharks, Caribbean reef sharks. There were some scary looking sharks. So you just said you're terrified of sharks, but we made it through and it was quite the experience.
Well, I will share with you as we're having this beautiful moment. I hope you guys are all enjoying this. I grew up scuba diving. I love it. I did it for about 30 years. I haven't recently. I got a little claustrophobic, but I used to dive 2 times a day, 2 dives in the morning and a night dive when I worked at Club Med all around the world from Turks and Caicos up to the coast of Mexico. And I do know intellectually, especially if you dive in at night. Let me tell you something. There are creatures, if you've never dove at night, it's like stepping into your wildest nightmare. There are giant crabs that just walk across parallel to you. Like, oh my God, there's lobsters everywhere. There's plankton in the water. It's cool and terrifying. And I would always hear, na 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 na. I'm like, I'm going to go around and there's going to be giant eyes behind me. So I did it just to terrify myself. But here's the funny thing about sharks. Intellectually, and I know this, they're not designed to hurt you. That's not what they do. They are the garbage men of the ocean. They clean up debris. They take care of dead animals and struggling animals, and I love that. And they also feed. But and if you touch a shark on its nose and push it away, it literally will not bother you usually.
Yeah.
And it also sees you as a giant animal in the water, and you're not struggling. All of that makes sense intellectually. When I peed my wetsuit because this giant shark came at me and I was terrified, all my logic went out like, it's a shark, it's a shark. Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
That happens. I know. I posted that.
Did you really?
Only I didn't say pee, I said pooped, but nobody actually pooped.
No.
But it just looked like it in the water. There was like all this debris coming out from that area. But no, we knew we were diving in with sharks. Pardon me?
The debris was coming out of your butt?
Well, it looked like it. So I said, this is what happens when you dive in and see this, you poop your pants, but it didn't really happen. I just posted
And the
that.
funny thing is they will leave you alone.
Yeah.
And, especially nurse sharks, but I've seen people diving with great whites and things that I'm like, I don't know. They make that for a reason.
I would poop my pants if I saw a great white. I'd be terrified. And of course, we have Jaws, that whole movie and everything for the people that are a little bit more my age. Remember that, and that terrified us all.
And it was designed to, and that's not fair. We also got terrified of aliens. Apparently aliens landed. Wasn't E.T. nice? All right, so Miss Amy, I'm just excited to see you again, but also to interview you because you've gotten some amazing things accomplished. And as a mom, I cherish the mom part, getting things accomplished, because that's not so easy to do.
Yeah.
But also following your dreams. So let's just start with, I'm working on a new book called Flip the Switch. I recently was in a very bad tour bus accident that crashed down on my side of the bus. My face went through the glass, and I survived all of this in a very elegant way, believe it or not. And then had a moment of clarity and went off and did a fitness bikini competition and got a medal, having not worked out for 5 years. Well, no, and I appreciate that. I did look amazing. I'm also confused.
Rock star.
But you know what? I will tell you, it was absolutely a vision quest. Once I decided to flip that switch and go for it, nothing else existed. Including my team and my business suffered a little bit because they were all like, what are you doing? Why are you in the gym 2 hours a day? You said to us last week you had no time to work out, and now you have no time to do anything else. And I said, it's a funny moment when you just decide. Are you a good decision maker?
So I used to not be such a great decision maker. And first of all, backtrack. I'm sorry that happened to you. I did read about that. But look at how you've overcome, and you're resilient, and it's amazing. So I see myself also as resilient. One day I couldn't get out of bed. My kids were little, mom of 3 kids, married 26 years now. So that would have been about 16 years. And I couldn't get out of bed. And I was diagnosed with lupus and Sjogren's and put on steroids and Plaquenil, which was the drug everyone was talking about during COVID. And so I kind of hit what I call one of my rock bottoms. There have been many. And we had family fun night, which was pizza and games. And I wanted to get that normalcy back after being basically bedridden for like 9 months and very, very depressed, suicidal, actually, very, very depressed. And so steroids can make you depressed because when you're injecting them, you don't sleep and you start getting crazy with the lack of sleep. And that's what was happening to me. So I changed the way that I ate, and I went gluten-free, grain-free, and I discovered a recipe online of a cauliflower pizza crust. And I took that to market, and I was the first one to take a pizza crust of cauliflower, anything cauliflower. It was just ahead of cauliflower in the grocery store. And I think that was a flip the switch moment for me, because once I realized that I was helping people, like serving the person I once was, that sick, lupus, inflammation, attacking my body person, I was all in. And I made a lot of impulsive decisions during that time, because that business exploded without me even realizing that it was going to be a business. It was, let's take this to farmers market to teach my kids how to talk to people. And it will be a fun little thing to do. And farmers market in Northern California is very popular. And it just exploded. It literally went viral online. And within a year, we were a 7-figure business, and we were #1 on Amazon for 16 months straight. And then we went to an 8-figure business. And then we were selling a pizza crust every 3 seconds online. And so I had to make a lot of decisions very quickly and very impulsive. And I made a ton of mistakes by doing that. So I learned for my new business how to take a step back, breathe, and not make some of those impulsive decisions. So a long answer to that question. But yes, I used to be extremely impulsive. It got me in a lot of trouble, caused some failures, but what a great way to learn.
Well, let me ask you a question about that. What were you doing before? It's not like now this is really important to understand for everybody listening.
Yeah.
The way you condense it almost doesn't sound logical. I woke up from being sick and launched a 7-figure, became 8-figure business that went viral. I own a couple of businesses. There's like a couple of steps in between for all my baby entrepreneurs. You do not magically go, oh, Jeannie, look, I have $1 million business, because there's so many decisions and so many things that have to happen. What did you do before that?
So before that, I did have an online business. It was, I had a 5-figure online business when the kids were babies.
Doing what?
It was a children's clothing store. So in the early 2000s. And then I went into medical lasers, which I cold called my partner in New Zealand, brought some medical lasers that were developed in the United States over to New Zealand. My husband's family is from New Zealand. I had that business for a couple of years and realized it was very difficult and not really fair to my partner to be running from the US while he was in New Zealand doing all the work. So I ended up selling that business to him. But nothing like Cali'flour. And I will be honest with you, it really truly wasn't meant to be a business. And yes, there was a ton of hard work. There was a ton of mistakes. There were some crazy, crazy things that happened. I mean, really wild, crazy things that happened. The momentum that company built was on a journey of its own that I was just trying to keep up with, honestly. There was just, I would get every day, it seemed like something new would happen. Like the cast of Hamilton reached out to us from New York, and one of them had eaten our crust and lost 27 pounds to play the character Burr. So then the next thing I know, my team and I are in New York, and we're backstage with the cast of Hamilton.
Okay, wait, stop right there. My team. Yes. So you didn't have a team before that, though. Talk to me about something. And this is so important to my listeners are growth-oriented entrepreneurs. Yes. And we all hit that level. My daughter and I own a company, and we are hitting a very comfortable, we're like 7-8-figure teetering, and it's a growth, it's wow. Oh my God, things are like, we're not quite sure what it is to do. How did you learn how to get the right team members in place?
So my team, let me backtrack and tell you what went viral.
Okay.
In 2015, I was doing the farmers market thing. 2016, I put it online because I had some e-commerce experience from the children's online clothing store. Nothing was really selling. January of 2017, first week of January, right after the new year, I shared a testimonial. I had gone to Donald Miller's Story Brand workshop in Nashville, Tennessee, and I applied the Story Brand, which is everybody does stories, right? Story Brand. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's basically using a customer's testimonial to talk about your product or your service. Mm-hmm. So I had shared a story of Jesse and Kenzie. Kenzie was a nonverbal 4-year-old little girl, severely autistic, and Jessie was a mom that weighed over 300 pounds.
Oh, wow.
The doctor put Kenzie on a low-carb diet because that's what they were doing for autism at that time. They still are today. So basically, Jessie was a stay-at-home mom, single mom. That's near and dear to my heart because my mom was a single mom. And so we were sending pizza crusts up there. And in order for Kenzie to eat, she loves pizza, in order for Kenzie to eat the only low-carb cauliflower pizza crust, Jessie had to sit down with her. And so Jessie started eating the way Kenzie was eating. 7 months go by and Jessie has lost 90 pounds and Kenzie becomes verbal and able to go to a regular store or a regular school.
Oh my God.
So we shared that story on Facebook. It got shut down because Facebook doesn't like anything about weight loss before and afters at that time. And so we shared Kenzie's story. Now, I never created the cauliflower pizza crust to be low carb. It just happened to be what it was because it was gluten-free, grain-free, and that's what I needed for my inflammation. Right. So when I shared Jessie's story, it went viral. All of a sudden in January of 2017, we sold more than we had in 2015 and 2016 combined.
Now, did you run into manufacturing issues?
So we ran into a ton of manufacturing issues because mid-year of 2016, I was still making it with a cottage license out of my kitchen. We had a co-packer. We had just hired a co-packer. I had one employee, and you know what? She was my esthetician. She had done, because I have Sjogren's too, I can't wear mascara. So I was getting lashes put on, and she was my esthetician doing lashes, and she got carpal tunnel. And I said, why don't you come work for me? I'm doing this little cauliflower side gig at Farmer's Market, and I could use an extra hand.
Oh my God.
Yes. And she stayed with me to the very end until the venture capitalist bought the company, and then they let her go, which was another whole nother story. And she's now with me again, building Soursop Nutrition and Be Me. But it literally, her and her husband were scrambling to keep up with the orders that January. We had a co-packer, and then he got shut down by the health department for a whole nother side of the kitchen that had nothing to do with cauliflower. We were in the frozen side. This was in a side where they were making candy. So he got shut down. So that was a big, big drama learning experience. So I finally decided, well, we use fresh cauliflower. Where's cauliflower grown in California? Because I was in Northern California. And let's find a bakery near those cauliflower fields, because that'll cut the cost of getting the cauliflower there. And we did. We were in the Salinas Valley. We found a family-owned bakery. They jumped all in with us. And do you know that in the end, the venture capitalists ended up buying the family bakery? And the owner of that family bakery, he went all in with us. Pretty soon, he was no longer doing mom and pop's cookies and cakes. He was doing all cauliflower pizza crust because we grew so fast. So it was such a blessing and a gift to find him. But it was cold calling, just like I found my partner in New Zealand for the medical lasers. It was cold calling.
Oh my God. Sorry.
My team has always been, I've hired the really experienced, the Harvard grad type of person. I'm not saying they're bad, but what works better for me and my team and the way that we operate is somebody that's just hungry, humble, with strong emotional intelligence. We had a bunch of women. They were friends and family, super strong emotional intelligence. We were just a team. Everybody treated it. We called ourselves the Cali family. No, I let everyone pick their own titles.
Hang on a quick second. I am loving this part of the conversation. We were in fact a live TV show. We've got about 20 seconds to our first.
Oh dear. Oh no.
I know. You and I are just like sitting, we're just having a chit chat. If you're listening, you are lucky enough to be hearing how two amazing entrepreneurs, fell into their genius. We're going to be right back after this message. You're listening to the Forbes Factor. We focus on health, wealth, and happiness. And today I've got all three going pretty strong with Miss Amy Lacey. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this message.
All clear. Back in 2.
All right. So we are still live on